Okay. I'm gonna get my chair back into place. It's a very exciting day ahead of me. Hello everyone, once again, and welcome back to me explaining stuff for integrated B. Today we're going to be talking about one of the three major principles in fluid dynamics, I believe is what I remember from. Yep. Excuse me. Which is the Archimedes principle. Which, is, how do I explain this in a very simple term? Think of it as someone asked, so, boats, how do they work? Well, hopefully I'll remember enough information about this to inform you. The Archimedes principle, and we'll run through a few things. Why is it important? Well, the Archimedes principle is important because it explains how boats float. A very useful thing because, we take boats everywhere, and boats have been used a lot throughout history. How do we learn Archimedes principle? We learned it through a lab about how different materials float. Did I struggle with it? Did I struggle to understand Archimedes principle? No, not so much as being able to remember how it works. Speaking of which, suggestions on how to remember the concept. A way to remember is how it works, which is buoyant force is equal to the weight of the fluid displacement. So, I've got a fun little thing here that basically, the weight of the ship Sorry about that. Had a little bit of an accident there. It's alright. My little diagram here. Basically, the weight of the ship is equal to the amount of force that the water is pushing up on. So I've got a very handy dandy little graph here. So basically, depending on how heavy the ship is, so say it's like 100 kilograms, or I guess not 100, well, maybe 100 kilograms, and my leg here is the water. When it goes in, because it's so heavy, then the water will push back up in this constant cycle of it until eventually will float, and then you can keep going. But, if your weight's not displaced well, like if it, we're say this way, well then that's just not good at all for anyone. Because not only does your boat not ship or float, then it sinks, and then, well, people will die. But besides that, well, to make a long story short, for how boats work, basically, the bigger the splash of the boat, plus how big the boat is equal to the boat being able to float. And so thank you all for watching